Welcome to the 85th episode of Impact Media Presents. So excited to be with you today as we commemorate the last day of Black History Month by celebrating Black culture, history, and music on full display in the Hallmark Media's A Nashville Legacy. I am Kelly Redmond, your host and producer and director at Impact Media Entertainment. Today, I am delighted to bring back my dear friend and one of my favorite co-hosts, Gwen Kelly, who I deem the Rom-Comm Queen. And that title is going to stick, I promise. Thank you so much for coming with me to celebrate Hallmark's A Nashville Legacy with me, Gwen. Welcome back.
Thank you, Kelly, for the invitation. And yes, I thank you for deeming that title of Rom-Com Queen. But I'm sure that there are others out there who also claim the title as well, too. So I am more than happy to share that title. But yes, rom-coms are a favorite delight of mine.
Well, I would like to consider myself the first runner-up.
There, there you go. There you go.
But so excited, as I mentioned, to have you today. We have lots to celebrate.
We
Today
do.
is the
Exactly.
85th episode of Impact Media Presents. You were there
Congratulations.
day one on the first episode, and I'm so delighted to have you here. We
Thank
also are
you.
here to celebrate the amazing production of A Nashville Legacy on Hallmark. And then, of course, Black History Month, so much. Although we talk all the time. Black history is what,
Yes, we
365, what?
55, 24/7.
24/7 in
Yes,
our world. And we want to make it a thing across,
absolutely.
worldwide. So
Absolutely.
there's nothing more fitting than have you joining me today as we're talking about Hallmark. Since we last celebrated all the holiday rom-coms, we've been in
Yeah,
conversation with some of the leadership at Hallmark to thank them and congratulate them. And this is another extension, of a tribute to them and their leadership. And we're going to get into
absolutely.
that a little later. And then also, it's award season. And we want to give a special commendation and shout out to the Till movie family, and especially lead actress Danielle Deadweiler and producer Keith Beauchamp, who started this story and carried it through to the very end. Gwen, thank you for celebrating with me off screen because we've been following, supporting, pushing Till
We've been
all along.
talking about that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that, these stories, sometimes they're very difficult to to tell and to share. But what I admired about the about Till the movie and the director saying in the interviews, the director said this, it was her intention that this movie began in joy and it ended in joy.
Yes,
Although the middle might be difficult, but that beginning in joy and that ending in joy.
yes,
And Kelly, as you know, we are
yes,
both from Chicago. So we know that in our growing up in Chicago, being a child, of the 60s, of the 70s in
yes,
Chicago, we grew up with the Till
yes,
story very much.
absolutely.
And so it was something very close to our hearts. And we cannot give enough praise to the entire uh, team of the
Yes,
Till movie, but especially
absolutely.
to Danielle, what she brought to
Yes,
us and what she had to endure in
yes,
bringing Mamie Mobley Till to life so that a new generation knew
yes,
Mother Mobley, Mother Till. So we
yes,
love it. So
absolutely.
thank you, Danielle, and
Yes,
thank you, Keith. And yes, and a shout out also to Whoopi Goldberg as well too. We
yes,
cannot forget Whoopi because she was behind this movie as an executive producer for over
yes.
10 years. It was her passion to see that this movie was made as well. So congratulations.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I shared with Keith publicly and privately,
Mhm.
they not deserved every nomination and more, deserved to be the winner in those categories. And
Ab-
just let's just continue. Those of you who were resistant and reluctant to seeing it, make a commitment to see it, and to see it with generations behind you, because it's so important that we know the story. And quite honestly, it's the most responsible portrayal of what happened, to
Mhm.
real and most authentic. So look at the actual movie Till versus some of the other documentaries or things that have been done on it previously. This was done by someone and written originally by someone who knew and was mentored by Mother Mabel Till. So um, let's get in and talking about award worthy. I'm so excited about everything that's happening at Mahogany, the Hallmark Channel, Crown Media. I mean, it is just incredible. And this past Sunday, and thank you for bringing it to my attention before it was even widely publicized that it was coming on this past Sunday. But a Nashville legacy. Boy, do we have a lot to celebrate in this production. And let's get
Yes.
started by talking about the story itself without giving away too many spoilers.
Yes, we won't give away too much, but it's
Yes,
it was such a beautiful story
yes,
to tell, because all of us, have some kind of roots to the South, if you will. So
yes,
yes, it's very definitely a Southern story, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate the culture and history, the elements, the weaving, the threads of the Great Migration that's kind of
yes.
pulled through the story as well too. But I tell you, and we talked about this offline too. I guess what was so thrilling to me to see in this movie was the amazing nod, because this was a music movie, to see the amazing nod that was given to the National Museum of African American Music almost from the start. And so, to
Absolutely.
that entire team, congratulations on how that was accomplished, because it helped to root the story that was being told in historical facts without being overhanded or heavy handed about it. But
Mhm.
it was a story that was rooted in historical fact. And I really appreciated that so much.
Absolutely. There were so many elements that all in one. It
Yes,
was really amazing how they did it. Um, Focus on education and, you know, someone working on their PhD studying
yes.
music, and then the interaction with, a Black advisor working on your PhD.
Hmm.
Um, the story of a Black family in so many ways, in the main characters' lives, the richness, and complexity of Black families, Black love on full display. And what I really appreciated is, we know that Hallmark has a specific model. To me, I was happy to see them break the mold just a
Yeah.
little bit, to allow us to see the relationship between the couple evolve over time, and to see them work through and navigate challenges without a major blow up, and to really have everything work out for good by the way
Right.
they respected each other, cared for each other, and the outcomes that were desired for everyone involved. And so that was something that really stood out to me. It celebrated Black businesses, even volunteerism, which is huge in our community, but
Yeah.
definitely is not necessarily noted or talked about very much. And that's at all levels.
Right. And I guess in its totality, so many elements positive elements
Yes.
of Black life and Black culture and the
Yes.
Black experience in this country was elevated and showcased in it. And I want to go back to something that you mentioned about, the Hallmark formula, if you will, because
Mm-hmm.
also what was very lovely in this, again, being a self-proclaimed, Hallmarky as well too. That's what some of the fans of Hallmark call themselves,
Mm-hmm.
Hallmarkies. That the not only was the Mahogany brand, because this was branded as a Mahogany movie, but it
Yes.
also the series of movies that are done under the Hallmark Mysteries banner
Mm-hmm.
branding as well too, was also because there was also a mystery that was part
Absolutely.
of this as well too. So how that was incorporated, and how the two main characters, if you will, came together to solve a mystery. It's kind of like, Nancy, Nancy Drew. I mean, because back in the day, I was a
Yes.
Nancy Drew fangirl, if you will. So it was even that part of problem solving, if you will, mystery
Absolutely.
solving, that was part of the story, and I appreciated that too. Collecting the facts, collecting data, if you will.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
very good for our young people to see.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
also love the fact that it was multi-generational. There were at least three
Yes.
generations, maybe
Yes.
actually four generations
Mm-hmm.
represented throughout the story. And it is a story that the entire family can see and enjoy together. And so that was something. And I really love to see the complexity of Black fathers on full display and to see
Mm-hmm.
their
Mm-hmm.
evolution over time as well. And so to see the richness of Black fathers and grandfathers playing outdoors with their grandkids and, you
Yes.
know, just for family dinner, seeing everybody coming together, like, oh, that,
Mm-hmm.
family dinner on a Sunday dinner. If I don't
Right.
know if it was a
So
Sunday,
different.
but that
Right.
whole concept. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That was
and
that was.
then go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Oh,
No,
shall we move and talk about the amazing talent that
yes,
was
yes,
for yeah.
that was. I was gonna. I thought you were still wrapping up there.
No,
Yes,
no,
the
no. I want to get to the
cast.
talent
Yes,
and give a shout out to a cast that was so wonderful. I mean,
absolutely.
just from those who are just starting out in their career, and I cannot wait to see other opportunities that come their way. But then to see our veteran, actors, like a Stan Shaw. I was so pleased to see, as again, a fellow Chicagoan, Stan
Yes.
Shaw, in his role in this movie too, because as some people may not know, Stan comes from a musical family. In
Hmm.
his family are Sam Cooke and Tyrone Davis were members of his family too. So I know from a music perspective,
Hmm.
this particular role probably meant a lot to him as well too. So he brought a certain credibility to that role that was just beautiful.
It really was. It really was. And I'm a sucker for the love story. And it was nice to see Pooch Hall in such a loving romantic role as the leading man, who
Yes.
was really pursuing um, his love interest in such a gentle, kind, caring way. You really saw courtship on full display here. So
Hmm.
that definitely really resonated with me.
Yeah, and let's be sure to give a shout out to our lead elite actor, in Andrea Lewis as well too.
Absolutely.
Amazing, amazing, amazing job that she did as well too for this movie. And
Yes. And our
let's go.
veteran, Roz Ryan.
Roz Ryan. Oh my
Yes, from
goodness, Roz
Broadway and
from Broadway.
Amen. And oh, yeah.
who has brought us so much joy over the years. Yes,
Absolutely.
it was fabulous to see her as well too. But also too, let's give a shout out too. I just want to say I love also, and it's maybe going back to the story as well too, but it ties into the talent. I really like the fact that Nashville's prominence as Music City was
Yes.
brought out in this movie too. It was,
Yes.
yes, there were nods to country music. We love the scene of the line dancing that was shown in the movie, but
Yes.
also the Nashville's R&B roots are very strong, and so to have
Hmm.
American Idol, Ruben Studdard be
Yes.
profile to be part and singing, just a little bit in this movie as well too, was so great, so great.
Absolutely. And I tried to do a little research on some of the supporting characters, and I wasn't that
Uh-huh.
successful, but I have to give a shout out one to the intern supervisor. She played a phenomenal role, and I absolutely love the security guard. So I got to give him a shout out too.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes, yes,
And
yes,
what
yes,
about
yes.
that wardrobe? The wardrobe was
That's
phenomenal. The
right.
whoever did the styling for the characters and the wardrobe was just top notch.
I think, Kelly, this is something that we have talked about offline as well too.
Hmm.
One of the things that I've noticed in this new series of Mahogany films, the costume design, and the styling for the characters has been for a variety of the movies that we have seen under
Hmm.
the Mahogany branding
Yes.
have been
Yes.
just outstanding. So I keep on wondering when we might be able to see a Mahogany clothing line at our favorite, retailer, whether, and I won't name anyone specific, because there are some people who associate me with a certain Fortune 500 number one retailer, but still, nonetheless, we're just wondering if there's ever going to be an opportunity that we're going to see maybe some of the stylings we've seen in Hallmark movies may be available at a favorite retailer. I hope somebody's
well,
thinking about that.
well, if not, you have definitely planted the seed, and rightfully so. I mean, what I love to see them go, from casual to business attire to
Mhm.
formal wear to, I mean, and multiple formal scenes. So
Right.
they just did such a phenomenal job. Everyone looked great, and they were just such a rich representation of, who we are as a people. And I'm just so
Absolutely.
grateful to them for how they portrayed us in this film. And then, just again, we've already touched on it a little bit, but about our Black culture, the music, the education. What else do you want to say about that?
Well, I think it's just pulling on a little bit more on the thread that that you pulled on and that you elevated. That what was central to the story was that how again the National Museum of African American Music
Yes,
is telling our story, and that our lead character was pursuing, educationally, to be
yes,
able to document, and in an academic setting, the importance of the music. And I don't know who may be studying, music right now, and may be doing, a case study on, the music of the 60s, or the groups of the 60s, and so on and so forth. But that was so phenomenal to me. Again, too,
yes.
that say, I know that that this is a fictional story per se, but it's a fictional story that, again, that is rooted in history and culture. And I really appreciated that, that particular story being told, because, again, too, by us being native Chicagoans, again,
Yes.
Kelly, we know that we grew up in an environment in Chicago where some of the iconic record labels like
Absolutely.
Verve, like Mercury,
Chess
right,
records.
Chess
Yes.
Records. And actually, I actually worked for the Chess family at
My
one
father
time
did
at one
too.
of the radio stations at WSDM back in the day when I first got out of grad school. So, long story short, I mean, that coming from
Hmm.
Chicago, we could, we knew of those
Yes.
stories. And, there's, like Jackie Taylor. I have to
Oh,
say this.
yes.
I mentioned this too. Jackie Taylor, again from Chicago, a Black
Black.
ensemble company,
Hmm.
has told so much of the musical history
Yes.
of Chicago in productions that Black Ensemble Company has done over the years. And those who are in Chicago, please support, Black Ensemble Company.
Absolutely.
That's a plug for that, but we'll
Before
certainly
you
be
go on,
interested.
yes,
Go ahead.
I actually those are some of my favorite memories shared with my parents are at the musical productions of, at Black Ensemble Theater. I remember seeing the
Hmm.
Sam Cooke story. I mean, so
Hmm.
many. It's
Yeah.
just so yes, big shout out to Jackie Taylor, who also made her was that her debut in Cooley High when she was her
I
acting debut?
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
don't know if she
I
acted
don't.
before that or not, but she was
Yeah,
definitely in Cooley High.
and Cooley High. I don't know that for sure or not, but it might be. That's good. But again, too, we could, and again, we could wax on forever about,
Oh yes,
our hometown and the contributions that have come from our hometown. But
absolutely.
let us not be remiss here and celebrate everyone else as well, too.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And I don't want to give away spoilers, because it is
Yes.
still new in the run of the film. But I do have to say, I was just so moved, by the ending and the way
Hmm.
that everyone was celebrated. And it definitely, I watched it twice, and both times I couldn't hold the tears back. It's just beautiful to see our people achieve, to see our people work together, to see our
Hmm.
people love and acknowledge each other. And it to me represents what we are already, and
Absolutely.
also what we can be that defies some of the stereotypes that others have about us and some of us have about each other. So
Hmm.
I definitely think that this is an educational tool around showing us how to manage relationships amongst each other, and how we can work through challenges together and everyone can win. I don't believe we
Right.
have to have a win-lose situation in our we can come
Absolutely.
up with a win-win, and they found a way through the
Hmm.
characters and the story to tell a story that could have been hard, but to come up
Right.
with the win-win. And I want to challenge our community to think more about how we can work together better so that everyone wins.
Right. And I'm glad that you picked up on that and you're elevating that that theme that kind of permeated the end of the movie as
Hmm.
well too, because it does say no matter what the past has been, and
Yes.
all of us have fallen short of the
Yes.
mark, if you will, but
Yes.
there not only is redemption, but
Yes.
but you can also make a change and celebrate a new beginning, and also
Absolutely.
contribute to what you want to see the future to be like. So to that point, again, not giving away, too much of how it
Yes.
ended, and giving away any spoilers. I think, again, the the writers of this, the screenwriters,
Oh, yes.
really developed a very beautiful ending that was very
Absolutely.
resonant, and everyone feels uplifted by what they
Yes.
have just seen and what they have just experienced with this.
And I would say not just the ending, I would say throughout the entire
Yeah.
production. You felt the warmth, you felt the connection, you felt um everyone doing their best to be their best and to honor one
Mm-hmm.
another despite whatever challenges or hardships there
Well,
may
right,
have been.
exactly, exactly.
And I absolutely love that. And now we've got to get to celebrating the new team, the 2-year-old team, at Hallmark. Oh my goodness. I'll let you get started because I know you helped connect me with this team. And I just thank you so much for doing that after our holiday rom-com celebration of the 12 days of Christmas in
What,
December.
which was so much fun. Well, I
Yes,
would say, we have there are some wonderful, wonderful, accomplished talent at Hallmark, who come from our community. And I say this all the time. So many of the companies, and I'm talking about, who are individuals from our community who are in corporate settings,
yes,
represent day in and day out the very best in our community.
yes,
And I think that when this new team came on board at Hallmark, they had there was a very heavy lift, I would
yes,
say, and not knowing everything that they face, but again, being on the outside and can read what we see through,
yes.
the trades and the publications and so on and so forth. We knew that they had a very heavy lift of accomplishment. And I cannot say enough about the leadership of, Hallmark, Crown Media
Yes.
leader, CEO Wanya Lucas, and the
Yes,
team
yes.
that she has assembled to
Mhm.
be on this journey and to make sure that in this and Hallmark, in all of its executions, if you will, going
Mhm.
forth, that there is diversity and inclusion. To some, that's a very, dirty words to be said, but
Necessary.
they are fighting through that negativity and
Yes.
bringing forth in Hallmark and elevating Hallmark, I believe, and the
Mhm.
Hallmark brand to new levels, where our community and other diverse communities, because we've seen what they have also done in telling, stories around brown individuals or other diverse individuals,
Yes.
whether it's coming from LGBTQIA
Right.
community or the Asian community. Uh, Wanya and her team have done an amazing job in
Yes.
just a little over 2 years to make sure that diversity and inclusion is being portrayed accurately and fairly and lovingly and convincingly in the productions that they now have um, uh, uh, responsibility for
Yes.
bringing to us.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to Wanya, to Alexis, to Tony,
Tony,
to
absolutely.
you know to Tony, to Kristen, who leads diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives for them. And others on the team who I do not know, somewhat personally or professionally. And I cannot forget, got to give a shout out to John Batiste as well too. Donovan Batiste, excuse me, John Donovan Batiste, who is the VP of research and metrics, who makes sure that those numbers are
Oh,
being
yes.
reflective when it comes to our community as well too. So congratulations,
Absolutely. And
congratulations.
you have said a lot. And I
I
want to
know.
add a little bit more.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
it's so clear. You can see clearly the change and the impact that has been made over the past 2 years. It's night and day
Mhm.
since they've arrived. And I just want to tell Wanya, Tony, Alexis, who I have been connected to specifically, and the rest of the team, thank you, for your commitment, not just to your company, but to our community and to our people and our culture, because you are bringing the representation that is needed to bridge race relations, because I firmly believe media entertainment can be a tool for advancing social change. And you are showing this through the work that you're doing. And I think through love stories and celebrating our culture is amongst the best ways to do it. So thank you so much for that. And appreciate all that you're doing, all that you've done, all that you have yet to accomplish. And all of what you've done is award worthy. I just want you to know, from someone who is a very attentive viewer. I don't like to critique, but the critiquing me for others, it comes up naturally. But you are, if I had an award for an impact award, impact media and entertainment award, I would honor you and your team with the impact award for all that you're doing. And we appreciate you, want you to know that. And as we're closing, do you have any closing comments you want to give, Gwen? I know we
Well,
want to make sure people tune in tonight, right? Because they're going to
absolutely.
air it
There's a
again, a Nashville Legacy. I know here in LA, it's 6 p.m. Pacific. I don't know if it follows the 8 and 9 for Central and East
in
Coast, but
Eastern. I don't know. We'll have to tune in. But the one thing that I will say, this too. I hope that that especially next generation who might have never seen themselves in roles, if you will,
yes,
either in front of the camera or behind the camera, that when they start to see, some of these productions that are coming about, and if they have, a thirst, a desire to get in front of the camera or behind the camera, and I would tell you,
yes,
there's a lot of power behind the camera, that
absolutely.
you look at these opportunities and say, and as we elevate, people like, the Wanya Lucases of the world, etc., and individuals on her team, young people can look at them and say, you know what, I think I want to do that. I can do that too. Let me find a path so that I can have a career there as well.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful that the Hallmark team has given me content to celebrate through
Yes.
Impact Media. And thank you, Gwen, so much for joining me today. It's always, always, always a pleasure to collaborate with you, no matter what the project. And I think we have found a sweet spot in celebrating our positive and uplifting content, especially those that come from our amazing team at Hallmark.
Exactly, and also too, as we're becoming more familiar with, other opportunities that are out there too. We know that Hallmark is doing a great job, but we know that there are
Absolutely.
others that are doing as
Definitely.
well too. So, as what you're doing with Impact Media, I hope that others will recognize the work that you're doing, Kelly, and
I
they will say,
appreciate
you know what, we need her to be talking about us too. So let me just
that.
let me just plant that seed.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate you. You have been a huge partner, supporter, encourager from day one when Impact Media was just a concept. When I was visiting you at your headquarters, when I was a part of the America's Leaders of Change and working on
Mhm.
my individual leadership development plan and coming up with how I could make an impact in the world. And I'm just so grateful that you've been on this journey with me. And thank you
It's
for
been my
being here with me
pleasure. It's
today.
been my
All
pleasure.
right. Take good care, Gwen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
I'll see
It's
you
been a
soon.
pleasure. Bye bye.
Thank you. Oh, and Gwen, I think we should
Yes.
come back and maybe engage some other people who have seen it after it's aired again to get into some
Oh,
of the details, since we refrained from really talking about some of the specifics because we didn't want
abs-
to do spoilers. So I wanted to put
yeah.
that out there too. So we'll
Yes, we
figure out
will.
the
We should
time
do
of
that.
that.
We'll figure out how to do that. Absolutely.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Take good
Take
care.
care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you again for tuning in on our 85th episode as we celebrated the impact at Hallmark Channel and Hallmark Media, and also for their most recent film that aired on Sunday, A Nashville Legacy. If you haven't seen it, you have an opportunity tonight. So make sure you check it out, and with the whole family, it will warm your heart, I promise. And as we close Black History Month, today AfricanAncestry.com has a sale on their test kits to find out what tribe your family originates from in Africa. Please check out AfricanAncestry.com. I promise you, knowing who you are, where you're from, and being able to go and trace back to the tribe that you're from, it was the absolute best gift I've ever received and been able to give to others. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Have a blessed week. Take care. Bye bye.